Hey Whiskey Tube, welcome back to another episode of the DBS Tasting Room. And today we will be exploring the Henry McKenna single barrel.
Bottle and Bond, 10-year, Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get into it.
Me too.
I'm
excited.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go pour this thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Alrighty. This is actually one of those ones where we really enjoy filming the episode because we really like this bottle.
It's because you really enjoy the whiskey.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier to film these. I agree. This Henry McKenna definitely is up there in my bourbon list. Just in general.
Yeah, we were just kind of discussing, kind of doing a little bit of the history background, but I was just joking around. I was like, I just like this whiskey. I just like it. Like we can do the history, a little bit. Henry McKenna was he was Irish, kind of brought his flavor to the
bourbon world.
With the virgin oak.
Yeah, right. And to barrel them in American oak and let them sit there and age a little bit. This is a 10-year, right?
See what it comes down to with this bottle is kind of covers 10-year, aged appropriately, 100 proof, a Heaven Hill product, single barrel. It just hits.
Yeah.
Checks every box.
I agree.
When you're looking at it, it's like, all right, we just.
In the bourbon world, for sure.
When you're looking at, if I was unfamiliar with Henry McKenna, because let's be frank, this is not an appealing bottle.
No, it's simple.
It's not going to catch your eye on there. But when you're looking at the stats and you're kind of reviewing, what are you interested in? To me, this is exactly what I'm going to pull off the shelf regardless of how it looks.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. Cheers.
Cheers, sir.
Let's jump into it. Okay. Yeah, so this nose, flat out. I mean, it's great. It's mellow though. It's very balanced, and it's not overpowering. But again, what I get with bourbon, especially on the nose, more so than any other whiskeys, is I get the raw material. I feel like we've talked about this in the past.
You're still getting it on this one?
I get it, but it's not overpowering. It's just I get that corn, or I get the like in a Scotch, I'd say it's the barley. Like if it was an Islay Scotch, I'm gonna say I get the barley flavor. I get that it's not wheat, but I mean I get the grain. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm just kind of getting into it. I kind of glanced up at the camera just a second ago, and it's like I noticed my mom called me. She watches this, and she's just like, "Hey, when you're nosing it, your mouth isn't open."
Where you're
Cheers, Mom.
Reminding
my
yourself,
mouth,
right?
My mouth is open. But it's, thanks for watching. There's something with the bourbon, the Henry McKenna in particular. It's a little bit more complexities with the nose. It's a little more layered than most bourbons. Maybe it's because of the 10-year, but
yeah, the maturation helps for sure on this one.
Because it's a little oaky.
Yeah, there's some wood there.
It's not overpowering.
I get vanilla.
You definitely get the vanilla, little sweetness, little honey.
I actually get charred wood. If I want to define the wood, I get charred wood. I don't get that fresh oak. I get something that's a little bit more, there's a little bit more age to it, some depth to it.
Yeah.
But I love that smell. I mean, especially in a whiskey. So I'm going to jump into it.
I'm watching a lot of ADHD whiskey. Make it dizzy.
Sure.
Whiskey Tube has got me. Oh,
I'm with that, but I mean, when you're drinking high proof stuff, it's gonna be open up like pretty quick anyways. Generally,
it's just fun.
It's fun. I agree. Yeah. I don't look at the legs. It's not wine. I don't really care about that. The sugar content isn't gonna affect how the legs look anyway. So, but I will say, the aeration is fun. It's exciting.
This one, I get the caramel chew again that I talked
caramel.
about earlier. It's the little candies with the little twist offs that you just pull off, and they got the little chews.
Yeah, I get caramel chew. I also get I get a little nuttiness here too, mild nuttiness, and it's not overpowering. It's just a little.
That
bit
might
there.
be a Heaven Hill thing. Heaven Hill seems to have a little bit of nuttiness, not to the level of Jim Beam.
No,
but it's still it's one of those subtle nuttiness where it's actually just pleasant.
I think you're right. I think I completely agree with you there. This is a good pour. In fact, to be honest with you, this is one of my go-tos. If you're talking like a real simple 100 proof BiB, this is as you see, I've got a couple bottles of it.
Yeah,
we
were just joking around. Like, let's bring out all the bottles because they are single barrel. So there's going to be slight variation in each one of these bottles, and we were just kind of joking because I have 3 bottles at home too. So I was like, holy smokes, we have 6 bottles between us. But they're also harder to find. We do see them in our area, but just because in general they're harder to find, we'll kind of just grab them anytime we see them.
Sure, I guess if you talk about allocated whiskey, it sits in that realm because it's harder to find because it is technically allocated. Not everywhere though. It's definitely region-based in the way our experience with whiskey purchasing is. Because I'll find this not readily available, but
Let's say your local grocery store right down the road.
Yeah,
so.
I'm like, they got a couple bottles here. I'll buy them, and I'll call the guys up. Hey, there's a couple bottles here. Should I get some? We do that a lot. We like to spread the wealth in whiskey.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we see something, we're gonna buy a couple, and it'll go to our group.
As long as there's no limit, like I said, we don't sell it.
We don't resell. So
this one, it just keeps winning awards. We looked at the dates. We think 2018 or so, it won like whiskey of the year, not bourbon of the year, but it was like whiskey of the year in San Francisco. Yeah. And I think just recently it won a bourbon of the year.
And that's a big accolade for sure. Like that's huge.
Well, whiskey of the year is big, right? Yeah. But to continually kind of be in that perch, and we're drinking, you said,
I think that's
2008 it was barreled. So 2018, this is right around the year that it won the.
I think you're right. Yeah, this is a good pour, guys. This is. There's. You know what? You get a lot of the wood on the palate too here.
Yeah.
You
don't get it. Carries through.
Yeah, the honey's there too. You don't get it too much on the finish. The finish is really, really. It's actually mild. I think the finish is kind of medium to. I'm going to sit medium. It's not medium long. It's not medium short. It's kind of medium. It's just right there. It's actually very well balanced. It's a really good finish for that.
Yeah.
If you're a whiskey connoisseur, if you're like you're whiskey curious, one of the other realms there. This is a great harder to find bottle that's a little higher proof. For those people, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it sits real nice on the back of my palate. Like I said, it's not that long finish. Perfect, medium's perfect. Yeah, we always say medium, short, medium, long, whatever. Medium. It's just a medium finish. Sits on the back of the palate. It gives you a little bit of that nuttiness. That kind of sits there a little bit with me.
There's something else going on here.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to pick it up. I don't know what it is.
It's funny because I can spend hours. I mean, I don't want to say hours because I think that makes me seem like a crazy person. But I mean, I can nose a whiskey almost indefinitely. I mean, and not even taste it and be totally fine.
I do like to do the compare and contrast though, so I'll pour a couple different in the similar realm and just kind of go back and forth and nose them just to see. It helps the notes jump out to me.
I agree. Sometimes you gotta cleanse it though too, because I know like, especially if we've been tasting other whiskeys, in the day or. Just in general, or how later in the day it is. Sometimes your nose will just let go. It just doesn't. It's not gonna. It's not gonna remember what it's hitting. It's not gonna. Those notes won't sit there as well. Almost like you burn it out. Your olfactory senses can only go so far, and the ethanol is gonna not help. So give your nose a break every once in a while.
Like I say, do
you like right? You do the whole like inner elbow.
Little refresh
smell.
But there was something here I think identify. I don't know if you're gonna. I get a little graham crackery. Maybe it's because of the dryness, because it's not as oily as I remember. And this is what's kind of different per barrel, because I have 2 open bottles at my house, and they're both significantly different. I think this is different than the ones I have too.
I think you're right. I think you might have you might have one that's in between the 2 of these. So the year is going to make a big difference. I mean, even the batches are going to make a difference technically if you get one that's like from the tail end of that barrel to the top end of the barrel, or like the grouping of barrels. But graham cracker's pretty good. You're probably getting a little cinnamon too. Maybe that's why that sits there, because like cinnamon goes together. For me, graham crackers and cinnamon kind of sit in that same realm. But the dryness is great because this is not a sweet finished whiskey. This is a very dry actually whiskey, almost overly dry.
It's surprisingly dry.
It's almost giving me cotton mouth a little bit.
Yeah, I drink this one. I don't want to say regularly, but it's actually surprising me. And the graham cracker's funny. It probably goes to that cinnamon Teddy Grahams we always talk about. Just because,
Teddy Grahams is a great one. That hits right here. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dang it, Donnie with his flavor profile selections. Candies.
So almond roca.
He had one where it was dirty dish rag, grandma's dish rag. That is not this whiskey.
No.
But
that hit though. That was on the mark.
It was on the mark, but it was good.
It was a good one.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
We won't name the whiskey because,
because it sounds bad.
Sounds awful, but it's not awful.
But we talk about earthy stuff, which is pretty much kind of dirt.
Yeah, but I like that too.
Yeah,
I like that, and there's a place and a time for it, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And whatever floats your boat, whatever profile you may want to hit, that's what's going to hit.
This one, it's got a good color too. Like I said, we'll kind of bring it into the camera there, if I can angle it correctly.
Yeah, it's actually pretty dark. I mean, it's a 10-year bourbon though, meaning. It's age statements on bourbons are less common, I think, than they are on on Scotch, right? Because you look at most Scotches, unless it's a blend, you're going to have an age statement. It's going to have something, and they generally will only put an age statement if it's in that 9+ realm.
Look at the last video we just shot. We had a few Scotches, all age stated,
all 12 years,
all of the bourbons, none of them. Whether it's listed on the label or not, on the side label, it's not on the front.
Yeah, it's not on the front.
It's not prevalent. Hey, this is a 9, 10, or
and
whatever.
I know bourbon's different, so that's okay. But this does make a difference. It does. It just flat out does. It's an older whiskey. It's going to pull more wood, more tannins from the wood. You're going to have that oakiness. This has it, but this has it in a really balanced way.
Yeah.
I really dig this Henry McKenna, guys. In fact, this is a buy for me. I mean, if you would ask me, and we always ask it, it's a buy. As you see, I've got 3. It's a buy. It's good. It's a good bottle.
I'm gonna have a little bit more.
And you could have this even on ice. And I don't drink my whiskey on ice, but this could be a good pour on ice.
That might tone down some of the dryness.
It might.
That you're getting.
Or maybe even a little water just to kind of lighten it up a little bit, because it is very dry. It's surprisingly dry.
Yeah.
But it's not off-putting.
I noticed you keep your tags on your bottles.
I keep everything, man.
I keep my tags on my bottles.
Crazy. I keep boxes. I keep I even take the Scotch boxes and fold them and keep them. So I'm not a hoarder, okay? But however, you never know. We might turn into some kind of art or something for the bar when it goes up, And progress on the bar, by the way, is really good. The window's cut out.
Oh, we gotta check that out.
We'll have to go down there and take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, sidetrack, everyone. We're talking about whiskey.
Yeah, but we're talking about an actual whiskey room. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be good. I've been chronicling the journey, and I'll be able to. We'll post a whole big thing on our Instagram about it.
Yeah, I keep my 4 Roses ones. We got these.
Yeah.
Ones. It's like the Blanton's. Sometimes they have a little net over there. I kind of do the same thing.
Like the nets of the bottles you get scuffed.
It's just to protect it, but I'm like, leave it on there. Why not?
You're like, sure, well, that's okay. We don't mind.
Yep.
That's funny.
The only time the jars actually bother me is when I'm I see an E.H. Taylor or something like that. And I'm I really just want to grab a bottle, and I just open the thing. I just want to grab the bottle and go. I don't want to bring down the canister, open it up. But sometimes we do what we do.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is there's no reason to get rid of it. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything. No, unless you have space issues. But
it's cool collecting. And we're enthusiasts, so we kind of enjoy the whole collecting aspect. So one of the things actually about bourbon that I like a lot is it's some of the things are harder to find, and while that's can be irritating or anything like that, when you find that bottle and you're you see it on the shelf, you're just oh,
sure. You're like, oh my God!
Yeah,
it's the one I've been.
And then what do? You take a picture of it. We put it on our Discord. I sent it out to the whiskey. We're guess what?
Look what I got.
And then everyone's like, oh no way!
And then we spark conversation, and that's where it goes. I agree. I mean, it's that love that we share that we can spread. Of whiskey and really kind of just one, educate ourselves, but people in what you're looking for, and for me too, because I'm not a bourbon guy. I love bourbon, but I'm not a bourbon guy. Mm-hmm. My go-to is Scotch. So for me, when I see bottles that are harder to find, or I'll always ask, hey, is this something I want to get? This is one of those ones that sure, I put it on there. It's a great bottle. Even I recommend this one. So. I'm a fan of it.
I haven't had a bad one yet. I've heard that there can be misses out there with McKenna.
Sure.
You figure we got 6 bottles. I know we haven't opened these so far, but I got 2.
But I think we have one that's open on yours, and we have another kill, and I think the kill is a 10. To be honest, I think a kill is one of these ones.
So I think we're 4 for 4 in our group as far as ones that I would heavily recommend. Yeah. I just really like this bottle. I kind of hope, in a way, they do a refresh, because there's something about these bottles can range anywhere from $45 up to $80.
Yeah,
maybe.
7.
And if you buy secondary online, they're over $100.
Yeah.
But they're just can be tough to find. But like I said, we have them somewhat in our area. But I wouldn't be opposed to spending $80 on this bottle if it had a nice little refresh. I'm a sucker for marketing. I kind of want a cool presentation. The bottle's not bad, but the label.
It's really basic, but you got to realize when these things came out, I don't know what this was priced at MSRP, but I'm going to say $30. It's got to be in the $30 range, But because it becomes rare and the name becomes popular enough to where people want to buy it, it becomes allocated, or maybe not allocated, it just becomes harder to find because there's just less out in the market. The prices rise, and so your $30 whiskey becomes a $60 whiskey or becomes a $100 whiskey. It's really unfortunate for bourbon, but it's kind of fun when you do find those bottles, or those unicorn bottles that are oh my God, now this isn't a unicorn for me. However, this is one of those ones. So again, if you see it and you're a bourbon enthusiast and you haven't had it, buy it.
You're excited to see it on the shelf. And that's where it's like, if the prices go up, obviously it's unfortunate. We'd rather pay as little as we can as bourbon drinkers, right? Or whiskey drinkers. We want to stock our shelves up with as much as we can. So if you're going to hit that new price tag, give us a little bit more on the marketing front, a little bit more flair. I'll take it. I would.
This is a good one though. I'm a big fan, Donnie. So this is a pick on Donnie's side, and I'm all for it.
Yeah,
so.
like I said, right on the cusp of my top 5, probably, kind of depending on the barrel. But
well, you're a bourbon guy, man. So
it's a good bottle.
I mean,
what can you do?
We when you have somebody to choose from, you kind of have to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah, this is actually on my shelf with the 1792s. So it's got the 1792, the bottled and bond, foolproof, and then it goes into the other McKenna's.
Well, this was also opened, so.
Gotta be one of my favorite shows.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, it's open, but I mean, clearly.
Yeah,
All right, everyone. Well, I think it's time to say good night.
It is, unfortunately.
So let's cheers. Grab a glass. And cheers to you. Cheers to you.
And from the Dram Bell Society, may you enjoy your dram one grain at a time.
All right.